No one likes to be corrected. No one likes to be told that the work they did was insufficient to need or didn't come across as well as they might have hoped. Um, hey, my friends, hope you're well. Last night I finished the last of the 12 lectures in my George Brown College screenwriting class. And talking to the students about their journey and what the next steps might be and how they can continue to follow their passions, to explore this thing of storytelling and writing and that type of thing and getting into filmmaking. One of the students at the end of the class sort of made a final comment of, one, thanking me for what he had learned in the class and telling me it was valuable, which is, as an instructor, is lovely to hear, because I too do not want to be corrected. I too do not want to think I have failed in some way. But he did talk specifically about the challenge he had in getting the feedback on the very first homework assignment, and how initially it was kind of devastating to think that he had not achieved the goals of the assignment. Um, but with time and with reflection, he was able to realize that the comments weren't about telling him how he failed, but more about trying to figure out how to make him succeed even better than he did. And that throughout the course, as we talked about things in class, as I presented things to everybody, how each subsequent homework assignment, there was always trepidation in getting feedback, but at the same time, he found it easier and easier to see the feedback not as a statement of failure, but rather as a statement of opportunity, of things that could still be tried, right? Nobody wants to fail. And I thanked him for that observation. Nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to think that they're not sufficient for whatever it is, whatever task they've set themselves, particularly when it's a task that is especially personal, like creative art can be, creative self-expression. Um, when people are seen to attack the thing you put your passions into, it can feel like a condemnation of you as a person, that you are insufficient, not that the work you did could use work. And so I get that. I get that it's a very big challenge. But again, I'm very grateful to the student that they were able to see what I'm always hoping to relate to my classes, to the students that I meet, to the clients that I meet, which is that feedback and reaction to things and commentary and questions I'll ask and challenges I'll lay out for them, those are all opportunities. They're not failures. They're opportunities to see things in a different way, to improve, to challenge yourself, to task yourself, to try something a little more complicated than maybe what you're comfortable with, or to reflect on what you've done and see it through other people's eyes, which is absolutely vital in creative self-expression. Um, I'm always aiming as a creative person to please myself. I describe it as an audience of one. I am the prime audience. After that, then I do consider what other people see. And I'm always enthralled to see what other people see. I think when people give you feedback, the vast majority of people are well-meaning. They're relating how that work impacted them. They don't mean anything malicious by it. And that's a great way to filter anything you get back from them. It's just literally how they experience something, or how it bounced off of what they thought they understood of the craft of the art form. Even when you're dealing with assholes, however, even when you're getting unsolicited feedback from people who may have an agenda, there's still validity in listening to what they have to say. And hearing through that agenda and hearing if there's any objective, as much as any of this can be objective truth in what they're saying. Is there merit there? Might somebody else take it a similar way if it's particularly critical? You don't have to incorporate any of the feedback. I stress that with my students. You don't have to incorporate any of the feedback I give you. It's for you to see your art in a different way, to see the thing you're trying to do, the thing you're trying to accomplish. See it in a different way. Um, and do with that information what you will. For the most part, I think part of it's our education system where it's like, this is correct and this is wrong, and there's very little gray area. I remember even in school, in high school, dealing with doing sight poetry readings, and my interpretation was often wrong because it didn't match the official interpretation of what the poet was trying to say or what the author was trying to say. Um, and that always struck me as wrong. Why was my interpretation, whatever it might be, wrong? It was true for me. I didn't make this stuff up. I wasn't lying. I wasn't towing, obviously, an official line. So it always struck me as awkward as to why this couldn't be a conversation, why this had to be a right or wrong scenario, particularly for things like that. Math, I get it a bit more. It is a bit more black and white. But even my background in the sciences says it's not black. The sciences aren't black and white, generally speaking. But anyways, to get back to the point, no one wants to get feedback, honest. I mean, those of us later in our advancement of our craft and we want to hear what other people say. But I'm hard pressed to believe anyone doesn't kind of tighten up inside a little anytime someone gives you feedback. But it is that thing. It's about reframing and seeing it not as a criticism, even when it is, as much as an opportunity to evolve your art, to evolve yourself, to evolve how you approach the rest of the world, and in terms of your creative spark, your passion, your self-expression, that type of thing. So when someone goes to give you feedback on something, try to calm the emotions a little bit, the fear, and let the information go in. And if need be, if it's not anything that you truly can use, let it flow right back through you, like be invisible to it. And then use what you can use and let go of what is superfluous, what is meaningless to you, even if only in that moment. This is the way I like to teach my classes. This is the way I like to teach and work with my clients. I've got another screenwriting class coming up at George Brown College on campus in September, mid-September. I'll put a link to it somewhere around here if anyone's interested in getting into storytelling and screenwriting and is in the Toronto area, close enough that you don't mind coming in once a week. It'll be on Monday nights, 6:30 to 9:30, as I say, on campus in downtown Toronto. Again, I'll provide the details. Check it out. Look at it. Look at the posting online. See what you think. If you want to come out and you want to try it, there will also be in future terms online if you're further away from Toronto and can't make it onto campus. So we'll do, I just finished the online version of the class. Come out and give it a shout, give it a try, express yourself, put yourself out there. I promise it's actually a lovely, supportive, encouraging environment in which to work. And again, I'll have other classes as we go along if you're interested in joining, or just keep watching these videos. So please like and subscribe to the video series, the YouTube channel, and my social media channels generally. Share this message with other people, and leave a comment, wherever comments go on this thing, about experiences you've had in receiving feedback, whether it was a particularly rough session or whether it was something where it felt rough, it felt awkward, but it actually turned out to be possibly the best thing you ever had. Some of the toughest feedback I've ever received was exactly what I needed, whether that was from a teacher, from a colleague, from a spouse. We grow. This is an opportunity to grow. So have a wonderful weekend. Grow. Have wonderful weeks ahead. Be creative. Keep in touch. Let me know how things are going. I'd love to converse. Take care, everybody.